Hello guys, Tom Yone here from Tech. Welcome to my HTML tutorial. I'm super excited to have you in my HTML series and to my new channel. Okay, I've decided to start this channel with HTML. The question is why HTML? Because HTML is one of the 3 languages you will need to learn and master in order to be a professional web developer. Okay, so when I talk about one of the 3 languages, then what are the other 2 languages? We have CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheet, and JavaScript. Okay, so if you can master HTML, Cascading Style Sheet, and JavaScript, then you're good to go. You can build websites and render it the way you like it and design it the way you like it. Okay, so if you endeavor to be a professional web developer, learn and master these 3 languages. Every web development and technologies are based on these 3 technologies. Okay, so in this channel, I'll be releasing video lessons on web development technologies and also application development. Okay, so but today we're going to be starting with HTML, and then after we'll go to CSS and JavaScript, and thereafter I will be discussing Python frameworks such as Django and Flask, and also some other front-end and back-end web development frameworks. And so if you don't want to miss out in any of my videos, you want to be notified whenever I release a new video on trending technologies, kindly subscribe to this channel and also turn your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. Also share your thoughts at the comment section below. Alright, let's get to HTML. In this course, we'll be discussing HTML based on the following outline. Okay, so we'll start with introduction, then elements, HTML elements, attributes, headings. We'll talk about paragraphs in HTML, styles, how to style HTML elements. We'll talk about formatting HTML elements. We'll also talk about quotations and comment. How do you comment in HTML document? And then we'll talk about colors. We'll talk about a little bit of cascading style sheets, which is CSS. We'll talk about hyperlinks. We'll talk about images, tables, lists, blocks, and classes and ID and iframes. Then a little bit of JavaScript, files, paths. Then we'll talk about head, the head section, and the layout generally. Okay, so we'll discuss on computer code, entities and symbols, emojis, character sets, URL encode. We'll talk about XHTML. We'll also discuss style guide and forms in HTML, media, then APIs. Then at the end of this course, you would have mastered HTML. Then with the knowledge of CSS, you're going to learn, and also JavaScript, you're good to go. And in no time, before you know, you've mastered, deploy your first website into the internet. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get to it. Before we begin, I would like to list out the tools you need. HTML is actually a language that can actually be rendered on the web browser. So I believe you already have web browser installed in your computer. I believe you have either Google Chrome, Firefox, any other web browser. It's good. All right. Then another thing you will need is a text editor. A text editor is the program we use in writing the HTML code and render it on the web browser. Okay, there are a lot of text editors out there. We have Visual Studio Code, we have Sublime, we have Atom, we have Brackets, a lot of them. Okay, we have Notepad++, but in this tutorial we're going to be using Notepad++. Let's go to google.com and search for Notepad++, like that, the plus. Then the first result, the first item on your search result, that's the download. That's that. Click on it to take you to the download page. Okay, this is a Notepad++ website. So download the latest release, which is Notepad++ 7.8.5 release. Okay, so click on that and to take you to where you will download it. So when you click on download, it will pop up a window to tell you where you would like to save it on your computer. So if you're using Google Chrome, Okay, this is where you choose the location where you want it to be saved. I've already downloaded this, so I will not download it the second time, so I'll just cancel it. But then if you have not, you just save it in a location where you can easily locate it on your computer. If you're using Google Chrome, at the end of the download will show at the bottom of your browser, or if you're using Firefox, it's going to be at the top right corner with the arrow pointing down that shows your download. Okay, so after downloading it, go to the folder and double click it to install it. Okay, after installation, make sure during installation you click on, create a shortcut on the desktop. So after installation, go to your desktop, you'll see the shortcut like this, then double click it to, and boom. I believe when you open, I've already done some setting on this, it will show you a default, which is a white environment. This environment, this is where you write all your code. Okay, so but then I always like going with darker environment. So I'll go to setting, go to style configurator, then under select theme, there is a drop down, choose a darker theme, or just play with the themes you have there. I like the deep black, and that's it. So I also like auto completion. I'll go back to my settings, I'll go to preference, and make sure, go to under the list here, you see auto completion. Make sure these checkboxes are clicked to turn on your auto completion and close, and then we are ready to write our first HTML program. All right, so I will do that in the next tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you. Hi guys, Tom Yone here from Extra Tech. Welcome to the second HTML tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we introduced the tools that we'll be using for this lesson, and we installed our text editor, the Notepad++. We also talked about the browser that we'll be using as a second tool for outputting our HTML code. Alright, so in this tutorial, we're going to introduce HTML. Now, I did some setting, a very quick one. I did some setting on the text editor. I turned on the auto completion from the preference. I want you to turn that off. Turn it off because it's not going to help you in your coding journey. Turn it off so you can write your code, type in it yourself, or preferably you can use the text editor that comes with your operating system, like the Notepad for Windows and the text edit for Mac. All right, in this particular lesson, let's start with introduction. So what is HTML? HTML is the standard markup language for creating web pages, and HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That means our H stands for hyper, and our T stands for text, our M stands for markup, and L stands for language. Alright, so HTML is an acronym to Hypertext Markup Language. Alright, so HTML consists of series of elements, and each of these elements tell the browser how to display the content of the document. Now, elements are represented by tags. So when I talk about tags, we will be using tags to write our HTML program. Now, the browser does not display the tags. We'll come to that and you understand better what it means. And tags label pieces of content such as heading, paragraph, table, and so on. So if you want to output a table or a paragraph on your web page, you use special tags for that. And each of these tags are unique. Okay, so how is a tag written in HTML? So the first example I'm going to write is I just wrote an angle bracket, opening angle bracket, which is the same thing as less than. Then I'll put an exclamation sign, doc type, like this. Okay, this is not case. HTML tags are not case sensitive. It can be capital, it can be lowercase or uppercase. So I'll write HTML and I'll close it. So this is a typical example of an HTML tag, and this particular tag is very unique. It comes before every other tags in the HTML document. It actually declares that this is an HTML5 document. Okay, so we see the angle brackets, then the closing angle brackets, then the name of the tag comes in between the two angle brackets. So let's save this. To save this document, you go to File, click on Save, and choose a location on your computer where you want to save, where you want it to be saved. Okay, so I'm going to be saving everything here. I'll call this index.html. Now, the extension HTML is used to identify HTML files. So every HTML file has an extension of .html. This actually lets the computer know that this is an HTML document, so the computer can allocate a program, which is your browser, that will output, that will be used to open this document. So you can equally click on choose a particular type or from the drop down. So we choose hypertext markup language. All right, so you click on save to save it. So this is now saved as an HTML file on your computer. So the next tag I'm going to write is our HTML tag. Okay, with my auto completion on, I think let me turn the auto completion off so it will help. Let me just turn it off. Okay, I'll delete this. If it doesn't work, I think I'll need to close it. Let me just see HTML. Okay, that's fine. All right, and I will close it. So I'll write an opening angle bracket / HTML like this. All right, so this is an HTML element. This is called an element, and an element consists of tags. We have an opening and a closing tag. So don't forget to close it. If you forget to close it, there will be error in your code. So we have an opening HTML and a closing HTML. So I'll have other tags in there. I'll have a head tag, then I'll close our head tag like this. Okay, then I'll have the body tag, BODY, and I'll close the body tag, body, like this. Okay, so we have the HTML, which has an opening and a closing. We have the head opening and closing and the body opening and closing. This is called nesting. Okay, it's called nesting. Now, inside the head tag, I'll write the title tag like this, and I'll close my title tag. The moment I open the tag, I'll close it. In between here, I'll write my first HTML website. Then inside the body, I'll put two elements. I'll put the heading tag, which is represented by H. I'll use H1. Then I'll write what I want to write, or I can say welcome to my website, and I'll close it. Okay, I'll explain all this. Then I'll write another tag, another element, represent the P, the paragraph element, which is represented by the P tag. So P, and I will say it is so amazing to learn HTML5. Okay, so I'll close my P tag. Alright, so this is the basic structure of an HTML document. With this, we can now click on go to File and Save, or Control S or Command S if you're on Mac. Then to run this, we are going to go to Run. We are launching it in Firefox. So let's see how boom, this is our website. You see, this is the H1 tag and this is the paragraph tag. The title tag is not displayed on the browser. It's displayed on the tab of the browser. So everything that this is saying that everything that comes in between the head tags are not shown, are not displayed on the browser. Okay, the head tag is used to give technical information about your website, things like the description of your website, the viewport to make your website responsive, the title of your website. Meta information comes in between the two head tags or the head elements. Now, anything you want to be shown on your website should come in between the body tags. All right, so the HTML tag has these two children, which are your head and your body tag. Now, the body tag has two children, your heading tag and your paragraph tag. The head tag has one child, which is the title tag. So the title tag is a grandchild to the HTML tag, and the H1 and the paragraph tags are grandchildren to the HTML tag. Okay, and they are children to the body tag. All right, so let's see the basic structure of an HTML document. So if we go to a browser, now this is the basic structure of an HTML document. You can see the elements, the HTML tag, which is the major border that surrounds the whole document. Like this is the HTML. You see the beginning. This is the beginning of the tag, and this is the ending of the tag. Then followed by our head tag. You see the little container here. All right. Then inside the head tag, we have our title tag. You see the border surrounding the title tag. Then we have our body tag, the beginning and the ending of our body tag. Then inside the body tag, we have this white space. This white space. The gray space inside the body tag could represent margins or paddings, which you will get to know as we proceed. All right, so the white space, inside the white space, we have our heading tag, our paragraph tags. Okay, so the white portion of the body tag contains elements that its contents are displayed in the browser, like the H1 and the paragraph tags. Okay, let me just do a recap of the doc type tag. This doc type, we said, is actually declares that this document is an HTML5 document, and it helps the browser to display web pages correctly. Without this doc type, you may encounter error in your website. So it's very, very important, and it must only appear once at the top of the page before any other tag. Before all these tags, you have your doc type. All right, so the doc type declaration is not case sensitive, like I told you earlier. It's just you can write it with uppercase or lowercase. Now, let's talk about some other elements. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our HTML headings. So what HTML headings are defined with our H1 to H6 tags. This H1 defines the most important heading. H6 defines the least important heading. So let's duplicate this. You can copy and paste, or I'll just press Ctrl D 5 times to duplicate it. That is 5 there, 6. Okay, let me just put a space in between this. So these are I'll change this to H2 and close it with H2, or change this to H3 and close it with h3, or change this to h4 or h4, h5 and h6, h5, 6, h6 and or h6. Okay, so these are the heading tag. This one represents the most important heading, followed by h2, followed by h3, h4, h5 and h6 is the least important. Okay, so if we every modification to your document, you have to save it for it to take effect on your web browser. So we're going to press Ctrl S from Windows or Command X from Mac. Now if we go back to our browser, or we just go to run, launch in Firefox, which is the browser we're using, and boom, you can see this one. Okay, let's just do something. Let's add so that we'll know the one which is. So we say this is our H1. I'll just copy this and paste to save time. I'll call this H2, Ctrl V, H3, or H4, or H5, and lastly, or H6. Ctrl S to save and go back to our browser. If we refresh, you can see the H1 is the bigger font, has the biggest font, followed by H2, followed by our H3, followed by our H4, followed by our H5, H6, which is the least important, which you barely use on your web page. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our paragraph tag. This paragraph tag. Okay, so the paragraph tags are used to define the p tag are used to define the paragraph tag, a paragraph. All right. So if you want to write the content of your article, you use the paragraph tag. So if we duplicate it, and they are all the same. So if I duplicate this and I just change this to something else, let's say I would love to learn more. Ctrl S to save and go back to our web browser, refresh. Okay, so you can see these are our two paragraph tags. Now you see the space in between these two, this and this, to tell you that it's a paragraph. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is our HTML links. Now HTML links are defined with the a tag. Let's go back to our text editor, and I'll just put more space down here. I will write HA rather. Then if I close it, this is actually called an anchor tag. Okay, so now the structure of our anchor tag is like this. If you want to put a link on your website, it has an attribute called href like this, then put an equal to sign, then a quotation. It could be single quotes or double quotes. Then you put the link where you want it to be linked to inside the two quotation sign. So let's link this to Google. Say https //google or www.google.com. Okay, then the name of the link to be displayed on the browser comes in between the opening and the closing anchor tags. Link, you just call it a link to Google, and Ctrl S to save it. If you go back to our browser and refresh, you see the link. This is a link now, so if we click it, it will take us to Google. All right, so that's how you write an anchor or a link. Now the like I said this part of the link of our anchor tag, actually that's where you specify the destination, and it's called an attribute. So this is the name of the property of the attributes. Okay, attributes are used to provide additional information about HTML elements. Okay, so we are going to learn more about these attributes as we proceed. Now, the next tag we're going to talk about is our image tag. Now, HTML images are defined with the img tag, written like this. Let me just put some space down here. All right, so our next tag we're going to talk about is the image tag. It's written like this, img, okay, with the attribute src, which stands for the source. So this is where you give the source of the image. So you put an equal to, then double quotes, then you give a source to an image. Okay, let's just reference an image in our documents to demonstrate this. Let's just come here and reference this image, a peng image. Then now the one important thing I want you to notice is the image tag doesn't have a closing tag, but then it has some other attribute like the auth, which gives the name of the image in case the image fails to display on your web page. So we have the auth. Okay, you can just call this structure, and you can equally specify your width, the width of the image. Let's use 200, and of course this has to come in between two quotes, then the height, opening and closing quotation marks, then specify the height. Let's give it a height of 160. So Ctrl S to save this, and we'll go to our run and open in Firefox. You can see this is the image. Okay, this is the image. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the button tags. HTML buttons are defined with the button tag. So the button tag is written like this. It's button, the button tag, close it, and in between the button tag we have a close button tag. Don't forget to always close your tags. All right, so in between here, the visible part of the button tag, which is the name you want to be displayed on your web page, should come here. So you can put click here for more. Ctrl S. If you go back to our website and refresh, so you can see the button tag. This is the button tag. Now the button tag mostly is used with the anchor tag, okay, to display a link. Whenever the button is clicked, it will be taken to the destination. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about before we end this session of the lesson is our list tag. So go back to our text editor, and the list tag, the lists are actually defined with the UL, which stands for unordered list, and the OL, which stands for ordered or numbered list. Okay, so if you want a bullet list, you use your unordered list. So let's just put an example. So to explain better what we are explaining here, so we have our UL and also close it UL. So in between the UL tags, we have our list item, which is represented by LI. Also close your LI. Okay, so in the visible part of the list is it's put in between the list item. So we can put here apple. I will duplicate this 3 times and I'll put orange. I'll put pear. Okay, so if I Control S to save this and go back to our browser and refresh, you see, let's go back. Yeah. Oh, we did not close this. Don't forget to close. Don't forget to close. Always close it. So Control X, go back to your browser and refresh. Boom. You see the list. Okay. So we'll go back. Example of an ordered list. We have, let's put some space here. Example of an ordered list. Okay. OL and the closing OL. Don't forget to close. So the list item, which is the visible part that will be shown to the browser, comes in between the list item, and close the list item. So we have mango. I'll just duplicate this 3 times. We have melon, and we have watermelon, like that. Control S to save, and we'll go back to our browser and refresh. You can see this is the ordered list and this is the unordered list. Alright, so that will be all for this class. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys in the next class. Thank you.